Tell us a little bit about your early life, where you were born, where you went to school, and that sort of thing, and how you got interested in music.
I was born in Chicago. I went to school in North Chicago in Waukegan. I played a tonet
First.
in school, and then clarinet. And that went on the clarinet to high school, and thereafter many years.
And you played clarinet through high school?
Oh yes.
And when did you start singing?
Oh, when I was about that big.
With the ukulele, right?
Oh yes, the ukulele. I forgot the ukulele.
When and where did you first start performing professionally?
Well, I started on alto sax when I was in my teens, and I got my first job. I can't remember, but it was very early, in my early years, and I played with the older guys, and they gave me lots of space and let me work things out. When I got it right,
Who are some of the people you remember most about getting started and the people you enjoyed playing with?
Well, one of the first people I played with was Cole, Fats Cole. That was King Cole's brother.
Oh, okay.
And we lived not far from each other in North Chicago. And he said, "Why don't you come down and sit in with the band sometime?" I said, "Well, oh, not well enough to go in a club." He said, "Oh, I'll work it out for you." So he did. And I enjoyed my first appearance before an audience. I've always liked it. I've never been shy. So I began, and then I started playing around town with other groups.
When did you move to San Francisco?
Oh,
Approximately.
San
1960,
Francisco. What?
early 60s.
Oh, the early '60s. He
Yeah.
says. I don't remember things by years.
Oh.
Mostly, I just remember happenings whenever, and I can bring them up and think about them, but I don't remember what year.
I'm curious, Terry, how you got interested in the music of Latinos, the salsa music. Did you play that in Chicago?
No,
Okay.
I was in San Francisco through Latin friends. We made a lot of Latin friends in San Francisco. They're still friends today. They'll always be, I'm sure.
What about the romance here, Maurer? How did you
I
meet
fell
Terry?
in love with Terri before I saw her. I heard her.
What?
I was sitting in the trumpet section
I didn't know
of a big band. Her uncle was on congas,
That's my uncle there.
and
He's now passed, Carl Kemp.
And so I'm in the trumpet section, which is always 2 rows behind the altos, or the saxophones, and I heard Terri taking a solo, and I just, wow, I want to see who that guy is. And then so I put down my mute, or my valve oil, or whatever the hell it was, and leaned over and listened to what I was hearing, and hey, wait a minute, that's a girl. And then
Oh, interesting.
Oh, interesting.
her uncle, who was one of my best smoking buddies, we were out on break, and I said, "What about that alto player? You know, I sure would like to meet her." And he says, "Well, she's my niece. I could probably arrange that." So she got the gig as hostess for this after-hours jam
Whoa,
session.
what a great gig for a
Yeah.
musician.
It was
Yeah.
lovely, lovely. I got
So
to
she
hear
got to
everybody.
head up the after-hours jam.
I met Diz there.
Yeah.
I was playing with whoever I was playing with that night, and he was in the audience, and he came up and said a whole bunch of congratulatory things, and he liked what I was doing. I said, "Well, I've stolen some of them from you, excuse me. And we were great buddies for the night. I never saw him but the one time, but he was an awfully nice person. There's a picture of him I have there.
So what was your learning process, Terry? You learned from playing with these other musicians, and
No, not
how did that
necessarily.
work? No? What was your process?
I listened to records a great deal,
Uh-huh.
Jazz records, and then I never ever got into the chordal thing.
Mm-hmm.
You say to me E flat minor, I say so.
But she hears it all.
Oh, yeah.
And I took my ears and I listened to people, and then I put my interpretation to what I heard, and it was me, it wasn't them. But when they said, okay, now we're going to give you a bunch of changes and we're going to play so and so, I said, oh no, don't give me any changes, because I don't know any, and I still don't. But I got through.
And
So-
you know a million songs.
Well, maybe not.
All
quite.
she wants to know is what's the first note,
First note of a song, yeah.
and it's there. And there'll be changes that she's putting to it that are little turnarounds and things that aren't even in the original, but your ear says, oh yeah, oh yeah.
And I did a lot of practicing. I wish I had a nickel for every hour I practiced. Ooh. I practiced all the time. You know, when I had free time, I'd rather practice than do anything. And I'd just take out my alto and go over things that I knew and just play melodies from out of the air. And I felt like I got to understand the instrument and how it worked. And I still do to this day feel like I'm a partner with it when I pick it up. We gotta have jam sessions sometime soon. And so, let's see, what am I talking about? Me.
Just working outside of music, and you're one of those many exceptionally gifted musicians who have worked outside of music to pay the bills, essentially.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Yeah, paying bills. And I work for the federal government at HUD, Housing and Urban Development, for 30 years.
Eshtay.
Eshtay, Ron
Yeah,
Eshtay.
Ron Eshtay, who
Yeah.
is a world-class guitar
Oh, he's a remarkable-
player.
And
Guitar
he
player.
was playing there, and Todd was playing there, so of course we got in for nothing. And Ron says, would I like to come and sit in? I said, sure. I always carry my horn everywhere in the case. And I went up there and played with them, and we had a good time. And that's another one of the people that I played with. I forget because I don't.
You
huh?
played with Cal Jader, didn't you?
No. One of the many brothers, you know.
Oh, the Montgomery Brothers.
Yeah, I played with one of them. Which one did I play with?
One of those Montgomery
Yeah.
guys.
Well, I'm going to have to thank you very much right now because our interview is coming to an end.
Oh,
Only because there is no tape left.
we're pretty gabby. We probably only hit a few high spots.
Oh, we can do it again too, Steve. It's not over.
Oh,
yet.
absolutely.
Oh,
But it
we
was.
got
This
one
is
little
fun.
more
Quick.
spot. When I was in North Chicago, the family of King Cole lived a few houses in back of me, and there was a boy that went to school with me, was the right age, and his brother came, King Cole came, and he was already famous, and he says, Dinky, I called him, I don't know why, but everybody called him Dinky, and he said, come over and see King Cole, I want you to meet him. And I was a little shy at that time. I was pretty young. I said, oh, I don't think so. And he says, oh, come on, you got to meet him. And he wouldn't, I wouldn't. And so I never did meet King Cole, but that's only because I was just bullish about it.